moving forward, back to the agenda, we're going to do flipped learning with Dr. Wang. Dr. Wang, you want to take control of the microphone?
Thank you, Brett. And thank you, Bill, for the wonderful message. Now I have some job to do, I have work to do before I go away for vacation to download those important information from Blackboard. And thank you, Rick, for inviting me to talk about flipped learning and share my experience of applying this pedagogy into the course I'm teaching. First, I'd like to introduce myself. I'm Daniel Wang. I'm a senior lecturer in the biology department. I teach genetics and genetic lab course. I've been teaching at UM for over 14 years. It's a long time. Anyway, so before I get into the detail about my practice, I'd like to give a definition of flipped learning. So what is a flipped learning? Flipped learning, simply put, is schoolwork at home and homework at school. That's just a simple definition. And a more in-depth definition is that flipped learning is a pedagogical approach in which direct instruction moves from the group learning space, like what we usually do in the classroom, in the lecturing format, to transform that into the individual learning space. And the resulting group space is transformed from the traditional lecture format into a dynamic, interactive learning environment where the educator, like us, guides students as they apply concepts and engage creativity in the subject matter. So that is an elaborate definition of flipped learning. And people often confuse between flipped learning and flipped classroom. And flipped class actually is not a new concept. Many of us may already have applied that by having students read text outside of class, watch supplemental videos, or even doing additional problems and engage. That is the flipped class. But flipped class can, but not necessarily, lead to flipped learning. In order to practice flipped learning, we have to satisfy the four criteria we call the four pillars of flipped learning. First is the letter F. The F stands for flexible environment. In flipped learning, we create a flexible space in which students choose when and where they learn. So they can have a broader, more elaborated space and time to learn. And L stands for a learning culture. So this culture is deliberately designed to a learner-centered approach, where the in-class time, the class lecturing, is transformed to a discussion format to allow students to explore topics in greater depth and creating an even more interactive and rich learning opportunities for students. So the central rule has been transformed from the instructor to the learners, to students. So that's the letter L. I stands for intentional content. It is the instructor that designed the intentional content. So we identify the key concepts and principles for each subject matter and design the study topics for students to review, to study, and discuss. So we have to have intentional content. The P stands for a professional educator. That means us. So as a instructor, instead of giving lectures in front of the classroom, we will instead observe our students during class time, providing them with constant and in-time feedback relevant in the moment, and assessing their work and reflect their practice. So that is the flipped learning. So it's from the space and time. A student can have a flexible study space and time to create a learning culture among themselves. So students can learn before coming to class. and students take the ownership of the learning process. And the instructor design the intentional learning content as well as guiding and navigating the discussion into a deeper learning. So that is the 4 pillars of flipped learning. And the flipped learning has become more and more well-known in the nation. Many colleges, many institutions apply this approach. In fact, there is a flipped learning network, and they exchange ideas, they have publications, there's an abundant number of literatures reviewing the flipped learning strategy. So in the beginning of this semester, I was very tentative to try this approach, but I was very timid to introduce this to my genetic class, which is one of the 4 core courses for bio majors. There are currently over 200 students enrolled. Many of them are pre-med. So using such a drastic change in this critical class is quite intimidating. But I was developing an online course, and during that development, the continuous study people came to videotape several segments of my course. So I said, oh, that's 5 minutes of instruction. It was very pleasant, and in fact, students responded very positively from my online course. They said, why don't we extend that 15 minutes into 50 minutes, into several segments, so that I can cover my whole class? So I had this idea. I shared it with the Instructional Advancement Center, Rick Ramos and Shane Murray, and they are very encouraging, and they come up with these ideas of using this Coursera, one of the Blackboard softwares, which allow me to tape my lectures and then record it in several segments and upload to Blackboard to present to students. And students can study these video lectures, which was almost identical. I shouldn't say identical, but very similar to what I traditionally teach in the classroom. So, for example, I will show you this. I will show you my entire desktop. So this is the Blackboard. So this is the Blackboard page, and we were in chapter 4. Can you hear me? Yeah. So this is the one of the chapters, and I actually recorded 3 parts of my video lecture for chapter 4. And let me see if I play this segment, see whether you can watch it. So this is one segment of my talk.
Okay, everybody, welcome again to this video lecture. And today I'm trying to record my lecture on chapter 4, mapping eukaryotic chromosomes by recombination. Since there's some technical difficulty, I do not know how long I will talk, and so I will do one segment at a time. Hopefully, they will fall into the right unit. It is a relative location of the genes using a concept known as map unit. We're going to talk about how this concept, how the map unit is established.
So you have the idea of using this video lecture. I essentially use the same format using the similar PowerPoint slides. I prepared this PowerPoint slide before the semester, like everybody else. We all use PowerPoint, most of us anyway. So so this time I just simply teach off these PowerPoint slides and make necessary explanations, and using a pointer to highlight the important steps, important concepts, as what I would do in the classroom on this projector screen. And students can watch it, and so the 19 minutes, so that'll cover the first part, and after they take a break, they can watch the second part, the 26 minutes, and the last part is 25 minutes. So in together, I break down the whole 75-minute lecture into these 3 segments of the video lecture. And so that way, students can have the flexibility, and they can study it in their home, in their dorm, or in the library, in the beautiful campus. In fact, some of my colleagues told me that, hey, Daniel, I saw your face on student laptop. They hear your voice, and they were studying your PowerPoint, which is great. So I said, oh, that's good, that works. So, and students do watch these video lectures, and then I posted video lectures before class. And then the second question naturally comes, oh, since you give them the video lectures, what if they don't come to classroom anymore? So what do you do during class time? So that was a issue, of course. So and luckily there's a lot of literature that I said, and there's a lot of people doing that. And one of the articles actually was distributed by Scott Evans from the School of Education. He sent a later article to me saying that there's another professor and wrote about using the classroom time to do this group discussion. So students actually divide into a number of groups to work on specific questions, to work on these difficult concepts, like those confusing, the difficult problems. And the professor will walk around in the classroom to troubleshoot, to guide the discussion. So when this article came out, it was just the beginning of the semester. I was working on these video lectures. I said, okay, now I have the idea. So I have the video lecture. I have the idea of doing this in-class discussion. So there you go. We can do this flipped learning. So with the help of these IT people like Rick and Shane, and so I made a video lecture for every chapter. So every time I made a new lecture, I will tell students to watch the video lecture and to prepare the content, and we will come to classroom to have in-class discussion, to have this troubleshooting, and even group presentation. So I ask students to come to the front to explain those concepts. As you can see, the PowerPoint is also always available on Blackboard, so students can download the PowerPoint and watch my video lecture. And so this is the in-class discussion. So we have this in-class discussion question posted on Blackboard. Students can study in a group. In the beginning of the semester, I also initiate this study buddy program, which I encourage students to form a study group to help each other. So this is what they do in the group to work on these problems. And during class, I will give them first 20 minutes to have group discussion. And every single student will do this problem solving and send their feedback to me directly via Twitter. I use Twitter in my class, so I encourage them to sign up a Twitter account and follow me. So the advantage of using Twitter is not only they give me A, B, C, D, E, those letters, they can also send me a short statement. So I will turn on my computer or on my iPad, I can see students' feedback live as they have the individual discussion. And then I will tell this one group representative to stand up to speak for the group. And during the discussion, I will walk around in the classroom to listen to them, to challenge them, or to question them. And sometimes I give them compliments, sometimes I pose more questions. And then sometimes I say, hey, that's a good point. Why don't you stand up and share that with the rest of the class? So that's how I use the 20 minutes of my class time. The other 30-some minutes I use for this student report. So they come to the front to talk about their discussion, and I will use the opportunity to clarify some misconceptions about the content, about the concepts, about the principle. Sometimes we give them some tips on how to solve those problems. So this is how I use this class time. So to summarize, I made these video lectures so students study and watch the video lectures before coming to the class. And during class, we do this in-class discussion. And during the discussion, I observe their study activity, and I clarify their misconceptions. And then they come to the front to run the show, to speak for the group, to report on their learning, and at the same time, I will help them to understand, to clarify this concept. So that's basically what is the approach, and I encourage they also have these group activities. And this just to give you this the regular PowerPoint. This is the PowerPoint they use to study, and I use this PowerPoint to prepare for my video lectures. Yes, it takes more time. I'm sure you're wondering how much time I put it in, but you all have to prepare for each lecture before you go to the classroom. So I use that preparation time to record my lecture. I use Coursera, which is on Blackboard, and if you go onto Tools, you will find Coursera Media. And if you click on Coursera Media, and you can see, you can add a media, so you can record your screen. So once you click on recording your screen, everything on your desktop, your PowerPoint, your Word document, your PDF articles will be recorded, and with your voice in the background, and you can use your pointer to be recorded in your class, in your lecture. So that is the it's not that difficult if you put the time in it, and we have this wonderful Instructional Advancement Center guys helping us. So it's really it's not that difficult, and you just have to make the effort to it. And the good thing about it is that now I have recorded all my lectures, all my genetic lectures on Coursera. So altogether, I have 33 segments of these video lectures. I just saved in my hard drive, and next year when I launch this course again, I can modify. I have more time to think about the concept. I can think about what problems and what principles, what pathway, what mechanism are more challenging for students. So I will have more energy to talk about this challenging concept that student faces. And in addition, I want to report to you, people always worry about new technology, new pedagogy. If you use a new pedagogy, you may not be able to cover the content of your course. But it is quite the contrary. Because of the video lecture, I covered so many chapters. I used to rush. There's so many content for the genetic class. And toward the end of the semester, there's a number of chapters like population genetics, quantitative genetics, evolutionary genetics. All those important topics was pushed to the last week of the semester. And I always have a hard time to give an in-depth illustration, interpretation, and explanation of these important concepts. But this year, I not only have plenty of time to cover these required chapters, but also I added 2 additional lectures. And these two additional lectures, one was given by the director of Human Genome Research Institute of NIH, or via video lectures of NIH. NIH has a Genome TV, and they give out this free access to the world on very recent research in human genome. So Eric Green gave the human genome research update of 2014. So that's a 75-minute lecture. I have time because I have so much freedom in the classroom time. So I have time to show that lecture to students, analyze it, and bring every student up to date about how human genome research is going on and what we have learned. And the second video lecture I was able to present to our students is a lecture given by Dr. Lin Zhuday, professor at University of Utah, who is also an NIH presenter. And he gave a talk on introduction of human population genetics. Very brilliant talk, very updated, talking about the identity of human race, the genomic structure of human population, the ancestry genetic marker of human population, and how we have become what we are now in this long history of evolution using DNA marker. Is a very insightful and authentic, authoritative talk. And usually I do not have time to cover that. I can only simply give students the link and let them watch or let them study. I didn't have the class time. But this semester, I had plenty of time to give them a breakdown of these lectures and have a discussion. And we even made a quiz question about these lectures. And in addition to these two video lectures, I also introduced a case study. The HHMI initiative introduced a case study project introduced by Dr. Mike Gaines in the University of Miami. We use a case study to supplement supplement existing coursework. So I developed a case study to allow students to study the gene culture co-evolution concept to see how human lactase gene has evolved through our cultural history. There is the agriculture, the domestication of cow, and how drinking cow milk has select the mutation of human lactase gene, and how European descent can have more tolerance to lactose, while Asian and African Americans don't have high percentage of population and tolerate lactose. And what is the chronic side effect of drinking cow milk? And those, I don't have time in the past. And this year I had the whole class time to talk about, to discuss, and students loved it. So all this was not possible if I did not apply these video lecture concepts. And the last question I want to highlight, okay, now you try this new approach. Well, how students respond, and have students' grades suffer from this new approach? So I want to show you some very rough data. So the first data that caught my attention was the retention. Right? We always care about retention of our college students. So I'm using this completion of BIL 250 genetics. So 2014, I had 217 students enrolled, and I had 207 completed the course. The completion rate is 95%. I have 10 students withdrawn. Okay, that's 5%. Well, 2013, I didn't use this flipped learning. I have 228 students enrolled. I lost 14 students. So the withdrawal is 7%. In 2011, I have this 9% of withdrawal. So from this retention rate of the course, the completion rate, those students stick to it. They didn't give up. The second is exam, right? The students care about the exam. I do care about student exam as well. So you look at the midterm exam and the final exam. The mean exam grade in the last 3 years: 2014 78, 2013 78, 2011 77. So all I'm saying here is that student grade did not change, did not, at least not suffer from this new approach. But the difference is that 2014 students had learned so much more. We had so many additional content added to this course. And how students respond. Well, we did this portraits survey, again thanks to the Instructional Advancement Center, Michael Barrenos, and he helped me with this Qualtrics survey. And I have these 7 questions, right? I want to know whether student ability to identify and recall information has improved. Describe, explain genetic phenomena. That's question number 2. Number 3, predict an outcome using this information. Number 4, infer, understand how components relate to each other. And the number 5, develop a hypothesis, synthesize. Number 6, determine and critique. And number 7, communicate and collaborate. So all these skills are grouped and characterized by Bloom taxonomy, right? From the low-level cognitive level of factual recall to the high level of synthesis and critical thinking skills. And I also want to know how student communication and collaborate skills improve. And then whether their study habit has changed, right? The rate, whether they cram for the exam, or whether they have more interaction with me or with their classmates. So those are the questions. So here is the data. So I use S plus A stands for strongly agree and agree. N stands for neutral. Stands SD and D for strongly disagree and disagree. And total 99 students out of my 207 students responded to the survey. It's an anonymous voluntary survey. So 99 students is not a bad response. So for question number 1, I have a 51%. This is a percentage. 51% say that they strongly agree that this flipped learning has increased their reflection and the recall of the knowledge. 47% agree on the question number 2. But there's moderate supportive evidence showing the higher level, right? We can see at 5, 6, question number 5, question number 6, not as strongly supported as the lower level of this Bloom cognitive learning, which is expected because this is the first year I'm using this. So as time goes by, when I second time launch this approach, I will work on how to help students improve their higher cognitive level of learning with this approach. But interesting thing is that number 7, these I have 48% of students saying they strongly agree that flipped learning has enhanced their communication and collaborative skills with their peers. And 47% saying that their study habit, which is also very important. I like to see whether their study habit has been changed. They learn not to cram for exams. They study as the semester goes. They don't wait until the last 2 weeks to study. So that's a very good indicator. I like to see the study habit. Number 9 is interaction with the instructor. So you can see that relatively strong. But there's still a lot of people are not very happy. They hard to change their study habit. You can see 39% disagree. But that's the statistics. And as I said, this is the first time I launched this, and there's a room for improvement as always. And I'll show you the picture. So this is how I teach now. I have students come to the front to draw a diagram, to extend a pathway, and at the same time, I will use a bigger screen to interpret and help students with those concepts. And this is how they discuss in class. And this is me walking around in the classroom. You know what? I wish one day, is my dream, to have this circle table in the classroom where students sit in the circle instead of this big, like this theater format layout of the classroom where students cannot interact. So in my class, you can come to my classroom, you will see a lot of talk. They discuss, they debate, they argue, and this setting, this classroom setting is not ideal for that. Yes, this is what I did, and this is the picture taken, and there's some data. And again, I will do more analysis to see how students respond to this flipped learning, and how this, what kind of, even this exam grade is the same, but the questions, some of these questions are different from previous years, and the level of cognitive skills are different. So I want to see how those skill set respond to this new approach. So there you have it. That's me, and that's just just to show you. This is a flipped learning and Twitter use survey. I have 113 students sign up survey, and 99 complete the survey. So if you want to see student written comment, feel free to email me, and I'll send you the written ones. A lot of them are very good, very positive, but I don't want to brag about that. Thank you for your time. That's it.